Welcome to Styled for Growth, the podcast where mindset meets style and presence becomes your power. I am your host, Antasia Shabrilla Moore, and each week we'll dive into the tools, truths, and transformation behind showing up as the woman you're meant to be, inside and out. I just got into what it really was like to have a capsule wardrobe. I really learned about myself. I've learned I'm really quick to swap out energy that no longer is serving. I mean, for an example, I had thought about a few different things and I was just assuming everything was straight. And then, of course, that's definitely not how it goes. What happened was I had my 33 pieces together, and now I think I want to say 33 to 35. But if you really want a good sweet spot, try to stick between, I personally would say 33 to 39 tops. But give or take a few pieces, because it's so easy to have something kind of sort of get worn out within that transition period, and so you tuck that one out and then you pull and put another one in its place, and that's how you continuously keep your capsule wardrobe kind of necessarily where you need it to be at as you become the young lady that you're thinking of. So that's definitely some of my insights about that particular activity, because you assume that everything's just going to be that one all be all end all, and that's just necessarily not the case. So sometimes you just really want to make sure that you're mindful about that. Um, because sometimes it's difficult. It is hard to kind of sort of not really want to kind of feel like that's the only thing that you're going to be able to do when you're building your capsule, because it is hard. It's difficult to do that type of thing when you really just kind of sort of want to make sure that what you're up to is really beneficial. So you kind of sort of get stuck in this idea of just wanting your capsule, especially when you're first starting out, to only look like what it was that you came up with. Oh, I gotta change it. No, this is not going to make any sense. Oh, I got too much things. You all keep giving me more and more things, and I got to keep updating and addressing and adjusting to what's going on and taking place. And sometimes that's not something that's considered a thing that you want to not do. It's not considered something that's a bad thing. That's a really good thing. That tells you that you're aware of what you want to do. And when you become aware of how you took that time out to build your wardrobe, your capsule, you really are kind of sort of going to kind of feel like as though whatever else that you choosing is definitely going to have a certain type of reflection. And when anybody else poses some kind of issue with that, it's really easy to go ahead on and kind of figure out what that issue is. So especially as you take out the time, time is really the killer factor for real. If you really figure out how long it takes to research, how long it takes to accumulate the things that you really want to put in your capsule wardrobe, then you'll really understand. And if you really want to talk about understanding, you need your shirts, you need your tops, you need your shoes, you need your bags, you need your purses, you need jewelry, you need your coats, you need your jackets, you need tights, you need sandals, you need heels, you need boots, depending on the weather, the state that you're in the United States. You always want to be able to recognize what you need. If you want to figure out how you want to have your exercise wardrobe together, okay, so you want to have your tights and your two pieces so you can hit and keep your lifestyle active as possible. That's cool. Are you going to include that in your entire wardrobe capsule or not? That's up to you. That's a personal choice and decision. Myself, personally speaking, no, I kept that separate. And I always just go ahead on and pull those out regardless of what's going on and taking place. But I do those things because for a simple fact that I really want to make sure that I focus on having a wardrobe that's really geared towards everyday life, really geared towards what it is that I'm thinking about, what it is that I want to do, what it is that I may want to create. And by allowing myself to express those thoughts, it's easy to pull something and say, okay, we'll keep that as a rag. Now we've had it for maybe 5 or 6 years. I've been trying to figure out what to do with it. I didn't want to just get rid of anything without really having a space for it. So now I have some new pieces that have made their way to myself. So now that I have those, I can replace the older blouse with one of the new ones that I've received. And so now I have a clarity. I have a moment where I can really not just trying to do something because somebody else is doing it, but really because I know that it really resonates with the lady that I want to become. So that's necessarily really what the whole entire point of helping you dress, think, and lead from your higher self. It's not about being able to compete with somebody else, whether it's Beyonce. I mean, I found moments and times where I'm thinking about things and I want to know what's going on, but you can be the prettiest of ladies in the world and still have major issues with the ladies who are around you coming after something that you hold dear. But just because you're Beyonce or you're beautiful or your capsule is so this and that, it has to be like theirs. No, make it like yourself, because at the end of the day, what really counts is how you feel. Beyonce's going to go ahead on and live her life how she sees fit, and you're going to have to learn how to do the same things. And in order to do those things without feeling envious or jealous of what somebody else has in their closet is ultimately how you go about doing what you want to do in a positive and constructive way. So dressing your shape is definitely a big part of having in some moments where you're kind of sort of trying to figure that out. What is it that you want to embody based off where you're going? I mean, for an example, if I'm not trying to figure out what Beyonce is doing, okay, then we all know that her shape is always the hourglass. Everybody wants an hourglass. I was reading the other day that her shape was considered enviable. And again, and then we want to get the lip fillers and the butt injections and all of these things to create that illusion. I was just in the shower the other day and I was thinking to myself, okay, well, why in the world am I trying to kind of sort of be so like that? And it's really a sadness. And that's not what we do. The people who are highest in the world are happy. They're not sad. that's not that's not where we are to be our best and highest selves. It's not in the filler department either. So be mindful. Your shape is not in the filler's doctor's office or by Silicon Valley. Okay, so dressing your shape is about going to spaces and places that are not always fast fashion retailers. I mean, I just learned about House of CB, and I never thought in a million years that I see a celebrity wearing House of CB that all of a sudden I'm allowed to run across House of CB and actually even get a discount while working at Nordstrom for the House of CB particular brand. And that's exactly what I did. And the girls, you should have seen it. The girlies were so hateful. Some of them were really cool. Shout out to you, Aquanita. I love you. And some of the other ladies I realized were from different parts of the country. They were Indians. They really didn't understand what was going on taking place. So to them, I couldn't afford whatever else. And I was put on the front and I was faking. And I see all the other girlies, Beyonce, Amber Show. I have a plethora of beautiful women that are actually quite leaders in their niche and their fields, all rocking House of CB. And of course, it's not a fast fashion retailer. House of CB is a very luxurious brand. So the pair of ones that I actually have for dressing my shape and my body shape was a pair of fox leather, wide legged, all black pants that I had in a size large. But what I failed to realize was that our dressing, the way that we choose to do those things, kind of goes up and down. Right now, I told y'all before I was at what, 150. I just checked the other day after the holiday. We was at 160, 159 on a good day. And so you eat and you have all of those moments, and you're trying to kind of sort of do 2 or 4 tasks, 5 or 6 people, all in the same breath of being one woman. That's difficult. So watch your weight as you figure out what your dress shape is, especially as you go out and about and you living your best life. Not Beyonce's life, though, mind you. not the owner of the House of CB, which I didn't even know was a 17-year-old female. So shout out to you, young lady, for bossing up and making those boss moves like you did. We believe in you over here at Style for Growth. And so when I was really trying to figure out how to dress that, I just settled for that particular size. It was a return, I want to say, from a young lady. So I was processing and returning. Oh, these are really cute. I've been hearing about House of CB quite a bit from Amber Show. If anybody's interested, always follow her on YouTube. She's a really interesting young lady, a white girl, an influencer, but it's really up on what's taking place, what's the latest, what's really happening in our culture. So I definitely suggest you all stopping over there by that community. And nonetheless, I was like, oh, this is what Amber Show is always talking about, so I'm gonna give these a try. At Nordstrom, we were allowed to have curated links. That was a part of the selling proposition. We were always allowed to kind of sort of take the items that we saw and allowed to create certain type of garment outfittings for different events and things like that. And we curated and sent out links on our social medias and garnered sales and commissions from there. So what I decided to do was try on the House of CB pants, link them, and instead I ended up actually just purchasing some, buying whatever that particular idea and item at that particular point in time. So I was my own link. Okay, that particular point in time. Yes, I was. And so when I got those pants, they were in small, medium, large. I want to say possibly extra large. But they don't go any higher than that. They don't do plus size. They don't do curvy ladies like a Shein or Forever 21 or any type of Lane Bryant or anything like that. They're not that type of couture luxury brand. They really focus on having hourglass figure, speaking of Beyonce. And so, and of course, I am a Scorpio. If anybody does not know, our birthday is October 30th, so I'm actually a Scorpio 1. So for the Scorpios out there who's always so sexualized, I mean, I never forget how many sexual partners who just are always on one thing, but I've only ever felt as though loving an individual in that romantic sense has only been one. And of course, everybody already knows that's our Brand Spaces owner's baby father. And we all know that's DeAndre Maya Booker. And that's just what it is. And lo and behold, when you really figure out what's going on and taking place, the hourglass figure is always about the Scorpion woman. Mind you, now we get to the nut and bolts and the root of these problems and these issues. Our culture is extremely sexualized with the lip fillers and the butt implants. All of this is usually for men's attention, which, mind you, I read a story about the House of CB lady, and it wasn't no dude's money that put her on. It was a secure, loyal family relationship, La Familia, with her father. Ladies, reach out to your father. Build and cultivate those relationships with your father. Some fathers are abusive. Some fathers are maybe absent dads. But if you have a reliable relationship with your father, you are doing yourself a disservice if you choose to continuously play your father, okay? Because we are to honor our parents, father and mother. Okay, and they have a right. If you really look back on how far these young ladies can take some of these business endeavors from the money from the people who look after them, they parents, especially your dad, especially the ones who really, really, really want you to win, they have a right to what you created. That's just my own personal opinion when it comes to dressing your shape. And what I chose to have did, I didn't want to get rid of these beautiful symbols of successes. That was just something I was unwilling to do for these House of CB pants. And so I held on to them. I didn't get rid of them. I didn't destroy them. I just put them in a little spot so I figure out what I was ready to do with them when I was ready. And when I was ready, what I decided to do was alter them. As you all know, I've been up and down figuring out my way and things of that nature. And just being older and a wiser individual as time goes on. And you just think about your weight just overall in general. As a just being a high schooler, we have gym classes, gymnastics, and gymnastics, and all these gymnasiums. And we have to go and really try to keep our kind of sort of tempo, so to speak, in a certain athletic spirit so that we can do the things that we need to do. If you all have ever seen the shows that talks about with Vince Vaughn, he's like, yeah, and I want to say couples retreat, you want to eat like crazy, run MDMC and whatnot, but at the same time, you got to get up and do all your music videos, so you need to be able to kind of sort of make sure that you're straight. So is that really a good idea or not? No, probably not. So that's basically what's going on. So by the time I was ready to really figure out what I wanted to do with these pants, and the idea popped into my brain and mind, I took out my sewing kit. When I took out my sewing kit, I decided to alter my pants so that they actually fit who I currently was now. So that means that I lost weight. So the pants were now considered bigger than what I like them to have been for a successful look, for our symbol of success, which are brand new, not fast fashion, but a very beautiful $200 pair of pants. Okay, not a $9.99 pair from Forever 21. $200. And you know what I just actually seen too on Alexander Wang? Alexander Wang had a pair of beautiful denim jeans up, and I want to say they were at least like maybe $400. They were so beautiful, and I'm already used to having some luxurious type of thoughts and things. As Beyonce say, you know, I got expensive habits, and when you not so focused on what people think, you realize, yeah, you know, I got expensive habits, and it's joyous to kind of sort of have a moment where you can relate, like, yeah, well, yeah, maybe I do got these expensive habits. And so now all of a sudden, I'm not about to sit up here and just let them go head on by the wayside. Then that's the case. So now I have to take the time out to alter them because now they're too big. And so now I had a sewing machine. At first, I'm scared. I was scared for so long to have these pants altered. They cost so much money, and I did not want to ruin them. For the life of me, if I ruined them, that was going to just end my whole entire world. And so I really tried really hard to make sure that I was able to bring them out when I was ready. And by the time I was ready, I altered them, and they looked perfect, and I was so happy with them. But I had to take out my sewing machine, I had to take out my sewing kit, and I had to have my fabric shears, and I had to literally cut my pants, okay, with the pair of fabric shears down the back and put them on and pin them just so I can really make sure that the fit was appropriate. And it was. And so I finally did it. It took me a few tries. I was trying to figure out, why is the kind of sort of thread looking as bizarre as it was? So I had to Google it. Then I had to Google, well, you know what? Hey Siri, can you ask Google why the back of my seam on my thread is looking as odd as it does, but the front of it looks really good? It just really depends on your tension in your machine. Some of the machines are just a little bit more finicky than others. That's really all it was. So I was like, okay, cool. So I took out the first two because I didn't know that. By the time I learned this, the third stitch, I left it in. Altered them, put them on, paired them. They're solid black, like I said before, black, solid, white leather, black fox leather, wide leg House of CB trousers and pants. And what I learned was that they are very, very, very kind of sort of commanding in presence. So I paired them with all black pair of chunky heels, pointed toes, flat, strappy type of heel or mule, if you will. And I did an all black bodysuit. And I pulled them up, they're high waisted, and just gave strict, I'm here, this is my presence, I'm commanding the room. This room is where I'm speaking to the best of the best. And if there's any questions, please save them until the end of the segment, right? Like, that's just what it was. So color confidence can definitely tie into this as well. It is black. Black is totally a power color, especially for Scorpios. I did read at one of the libraries out here in Parma Heights, Ohio, shout out to my plug, that Scorpio ones love eggplant, which is a certain type of purple, dark charcoal, which is a certain kind of gray, as well as black. And you know what? That's just what it is. I have on black now, if y'all cannot tell through the screen, because this is a straight up recording. There is no visual type of ideas and whatnot. But yes, black from head to toe. I love a good black. Something about that confidence in that color. So find those colors that makes you kind of sort of go into the woman that you see. So for myself, when I was buying these particular pair of pants at the register with my girl Aquanita, I don't even remember the name who was there, who was also kind of sort of like a hater on the low. But I realized sometimes coming from these third world countries, they may not have as much as other people may have assumed that they have. So I kind of sort of have these ideas around the holidays to give. I really had those moments where I say, here, Merry Christmas, here's a Christmas card. And I signed and took the time out to write, you know, it's really nice working with you. This has been a blast. Merry Christmas. I hope you and your family are enjoying the holidays. Sincerely, Love Antasia. Or I just move on and I give that type of energy off. But it's really no coincidence, right, that the color is black. I mean, what are the odds, like, that the color is going to be the color that it was? Why not necessarily have the color be pink or blue or green or yellow or gray or purple? Why is the color black that I went home with in a bag? You know what I mean? Because that's what your confidence was in. So somebody else lacks the confidence, and that's why it was a return. Then of course it makes sense to fall into the hands of somebody else who does appreciate the color that was necessarily, so to speak, what the House of CB pant was, which was the color black. And so sometimes people are just not into having black things. Sometimes, oh, black is so serious. Oh, nobody likes you. You always so mournful. We don't want to be in the color black. Well, fine, don't do that. But for style DNA, I mean, the whole entire mode of being able to figure out what the type of moment is for dealing with the type of people that I want to create. Our grandmother was a very stylish young lady. We own type of clothing stores to begin with. So that's really in my DNA. It's really a part of what it is that I wish to express and experience. Beyonce has the hair salons, you know what I mean? And I think even Sierra, she wants to go into the Nordstrom people with her brand. Even Khloe Kardashian, Good American. They want to go in there too, but I'm not sure that their backgrounds really revolve around clothing the way in which that ours does. So the 2 to 3 type of points that I really wanted y'all to focus on most is definitely your style DNA. If you have some celebrities that you may have wished were your aunt or something like that, they were just always so stylish, try to weave that into your DNA as if they were. Oh, if that was my auntie, but then our family would probably necessarily, especially on my own, have a certain color scheme because I always seen her wearing blue, black, or pink. Okay. And so you can head that into the way that you wish to carry yourself, which is definitely what you want to do. So I really want y'all to make sure that you can take away some things with this episode. So for an example, if you were scared of certain colors, like maybe you were scared maybe even of a certain brand, you didn't want to be able to relate to celebrities because they're so high up and out of fear, try to find a way to dispel and disprove that energy. So find ways to embrace what you're really scared of by facts. Do some kind of fact checking and really make sure that your fear is based in logic, because when you fact check and find that what you're fearful of is not really based in logic or reality because of the simple fact that they are, then you will understand sometime that maybe, your fear is ill rooted and you need to kind of sort of wrap that on up and go ahead on and just accept that maybe you are a little bit more so than you may wish to admit. So that's something I really want y'all to be able to reflect on. Um, and what is your style DNA? What celebrity is it? Is it somebody that's supposed to be your aunt? I guess for myself, it'll have to be Beyonce. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's difficult to kind of sort of want to accept this about myself, but even dealing with prom, I mean, one of the prom dresses, it wasn't just like a regular one from Deb or just like one of the Charlotte Russe prom dresses or something like that, or like it's a real three up plus $100 type of gown. Like it's not really a $35 one that's just really dressy. You know what I mean? Like, so it is difficult. Some of the girls didn't even go to prom. Some of them, got so upset that I actually went to prom that we actually fell out. And I'm assuming that it's just rooted in jealousy. We're talking about what we're going to wear, where we're going to go afterward. And certain girls are unable to experience that. So what's the their next best thing is to do what? Hey, on that particular type of woman or a student or female who was able to do what it was that they can't or weren't able to do. So, and that's sad to say that the next best thing, their next best thing to do was hate or to express their jealousies because we were able to do these things and that they necessarily were not able to. So it can foster those fear of being ridiculed and being so subjected to their abusive nature that we can kind of sort of shrink back from being able to relate to maybe, okay, it is something there about certain things and it is rooted in a moment of reality. And maybe by expressing those things a little bit more courageously, we can manifest the lady that we wish to become. So that's our style for growth tidbit for the day. Hopefully, you all having a good day. And, I just really want y'all to make sure that y'all are cool. I mean, I know sometimes it's not the easiest things in the world to do, but anyway, that's what it is. So hopefully y'all had some fun here, nonetheless. And so if this episode helped you glow a little better and brighter, if you will, please do not hesitate to share it with a woman who's growing too. As well. I mean, if you're ready for any type of personal coaching or clarity about your style, or you need some kind of mindset support, please make sure to visit me at www.payhip.com/authentic glow coaching. So again, until next time, stay grounded, stay glowing, and stay becoming.